everyone. This is Kristen from Illuminate Music, and today I want to explain to you and give you a little bit of a background history on the evolution of the ukulele. What an awesome instrument to learn and play, but with any instrument, it's so important to understand its background and how it's made its way into our lives even to this day. So let's get started with the evolution of the ukulele. So the ukulele is a Hawaiian instrument, but believe it or not, it originated in Portugal. So many years ago in the 19th century, a big product that was produced in Hawaii was sugar. And so there were many sugarcane fields, and there were many immigrants that came over from the Azores. The Portuguese immigrants came over from the Azores, and they brought with them this amazing instrument that the Hawaiian people had never seen before. And it was a small guitar-like instrument, and it was called the machete. And there was a famous immigrant that came on these ships with all of these workers, all of these Portuguese immigrants that came over to work in the sugarcane fields, named João Fernandes. And he was a virtuoso, which meant he could hear a song once and instantly know how to sing and play it. And so he spent his time on the journey over to the Hawaiian Islands, entertaining all of the people on the ships. Well, when they came to the Hawaiian Islands and landed on the docks, he jumped off the boat and instantly just started playing. His fingers went all over the strings, and it was just an amazing thing for the Hawaiian people to see. And it was really their first introduction to what would become the ukulele. Now, the original pioneers of the Hawaiian ukulele were three Portuguese immigrants featured here on this page. So from left to right, you have Manuel Nunez, you have Augusto Dias, and Jose de Espiritu Santo. And these three men were the pioneers of the Hawaiian ukulele because their original trade when they came over from Portugal was that they were woodworkers. So once they finished up their sugarcane working contract, they were able to move into the city of Honolulu on the island of Oahu, and they were able to begin their woodwork trade again in the Hawaiian Islands. Now, the first ukuleles, nobody knows which of the three pioneers was the first to create the very first ukulele. But it is known that the very first model of the ukulele was created as a blend of two different Portuguese instruments. The first being the machete, which had a very small guitar-like body and a small neck, easy to play and hold. So they took the shape of that Portuguese instrument, but they blended the sound from a different instrument called the rajau. Now, the rajau had 5 strings, which our ukuleles modern day here have 4 strings. So they kept 4 strings like the machete, but they took the tuning, the top 4 strings and the top 4 tunes on the rajau, because the machete had a D, G, B, D tuning, and they didn't want that on this new ukulele they were creating. They wanted a G, C, E, A tune, which was on the rajau, and they just dropped the last string, which was the low D. So blending these two instruments gave them the first ukulele. How did this instrument get its name, ukulele? Well, it's been said that Hawaii had the name for the instrument before the instrument was even created. Uku means flee, and lele means to jump. So it translates literally to jumping flea. Now, a story I like to tell is in Hawaii, growing up there, a very common childhood affliction for anyone is getting lice in your hair. Well, when we grow up in Hawaii, we don't say that we have lice. We say, oh, you've got the ukus. So jumping flea, it got its name because when people play and pick on the strings of the ukulele, it's almost like our fingers are jumping all over the strings, very similar to a flea jumping. And so that's how it got its name. Some of the earliest champions of this new instrument were these 3 people on the screen here, and they were some of our last monarchy. Now, what not everyone may know is that Before Hawaii became a state, a part of the United States, it was its own monarchy and it had kings and queens and princes and princesses. And these three early champions, from left to right, our last king, King David Kalakaua, his wife, Queen Kapi'olani, and Queen Liliuokalani, which was our last queen. They were the early champions of this new instrument. They are monarchs who were patrons of the arts. They were all accomplished musicians. King Kalakaua is known as the Merry Monarch, and he was known for bringing back music and dance and culture back into the Hawaiian people. For many, many, many years, it was taboo. It was not allowed to express yourself through music and dance and chant. And he is the monarch that is known for bringing all of that joy back into the Hawaiian people and to the Hawaiian Islands. So he's known for throwing week-long parties at the palace. And even that virtuoso, Joao Fernandez, is known for coming to the palace and teaching King Kalakaua how to play this new instrument. And so because of these three here, they really encouraged the Hawaiian people to fall in love with the ukulele and create their own sound, for the Hawaiian people to create their own sound and style with this new instrument. How did the ukulele go from being this beloved instrument in Hawaii to beloved all over the world? How did it move on to new generations? Well, in 1915, a man named Jonas Kumulai is known for bringing this new instrument, the ukulele, to San Francisco for the World's Fair. And he shared it there with everybody, and they fell in love, and it created the first ukulele craze in all of history. And people loved it, fell in love with it, and took it with them on their travels following the fair. And that's how it started to spread in popularity, and more people were able to learn about this wonderful instrument. Now, our three original woodworkers we mentioned earlier created their shops and through the years continued their work, creating new models and finessing their trade. They also trained different apprentices, and the most famous, Nunez, is known for not only training his son on how to make an ukulele, but he has a very, very famous apprentice that some of you may know or recognize the name. Samuel Kamaka trained under Manuel Nunez, and in 1916, he opened up his one-man shop. Now, over 100 years later, the Kamaka ukulele is one of the most treasured brands that you can get as far as ukuleles go. And over 100 years later, they are still creating ukuleles that embody the spirit of and legacy of those three original woodworkers that created the ukulele. Through the years, how did the ukulele evolve? Well, from the fair, people learned about this new instrument, they took it on their travels, and it made its way to New York City, where it just blew up. Everybody was using it in their work and trade. So famous actresses and actors used it in their work. It was used in vaudeville for many years and very popular in performances during the 1920s and 30s. In the 1960s, its popularity started to wane a little bit. So with the emergence of rock music and the electric guitar and drums in music, the ukulele wasn't as used, and it kind of started to fade into the background until the 1990s, when a man named Israel Kamaka Vivaole, who is a virtuoso in his own right, he used he used the ukulele in his music and shared it with the world, and the world fell in love all over again with this wonderful instrument and the sound that it could create. And so Israel Kamaka Vivaole is known for bringing back the popularity of the ukulele, and his music has been featured in countless TV shows, commercials, movies. Everybody will know its sound and his sound if you hear it, whether you recognize the name or not. And so to this day, it has continued to be a steady part of not only Hawaiian music, but American music and American acoustic music specifically. So that is how we got from its evolution to where we are today, enjoying the beautiful sound, learning the skill of the ukulele, and making it our own sound. Thank you so much for listening and learning about how the ukulele came to be.